If you have not noticed yet, I'm psyched about this movie. I'm psyched. This trailer does a lot for me. I haven't been this excited about a Batman movie in a while, in a long time, and it just, it does a lot for me. It makes me, it makes me feel good as a Batman fan. I've been a Batman fan ever since I was 5. My grandmother raised me as a Batman fan, and um the past couple of years as a Batman fan, I wasn't really excited about it. We're going to do a recap, and I'm going to break it down for you. Okay? Um, because there's a lot going on in this trailer. Well, it's a lot that I'm getting from this trailer, and it's I hope that it's a good sign for things to come. Okay, let's start off with those two. WB and DC. The two logos are flat red. Okay, there's no fanfare to it, which is fine. I like it. I like the simplicity to it. Okay, it's very minimalist, and you can't go wrong with it in a lot of cases. It's a glowing red, which gives me cartoony vibes, which immediately shows me that they were willing to take a risk and willing to change the format to some things. Okay, so good so far. Oh, and the masking tape, I'm sorry, just the duct tape, just hearing the duct tape rip. Ooh, something's bad about to happen or just happened. The music, oh my god, it's so good. It does a lot. It sets the tone. Tone is very important for a movie, for any movie, to be honest. Tone is very important, and it does a lot just setting the tone within the first 25 seconds. The first 25 seconds, we already have a general idea of where this is going, of how this movie's going to go. So I'm here for it. They established the relationship between Jim Gordon and Batman, which wasn't really done in the previous Batman movies. They had some type of relationship, but it wasn't a working relationship. It was more so things are in super dire need, and I have no other alternatives, so I have to come to you. Okay, this is when you have every bad cop basically screwing over Jim Gordon or what have you. So he can't trust anybody. So now he's trusting Batman. It seemed like in this one, Batman is already established and it's not so dire, shall I say. It's just more so you aren't going anywhere. So welcome to the team. I need your help. X, Y, and Z. He looks like a detective. Like in this whole scenario, he looks like a detective, which they did not do in the Christopher Nolan Batman. He figured stuff out, but he didn't look like he was approaching anything like the detective that Batman is supposed to be. Ra's al Ghul always called Batman the detective, and in the Christopher Nolan series, not really too much detective work going on. Let's keep going. Okay. So just in those few cuts, you see that he's on a regular motorcycle. Okay. He's apparently camped out in some type of warehouse. It could be, right outside of the cemetery, and he's not established yet as the Batman that we all grew up knowing. So I spoke with a couple of friends of mine, and one of them actually informed me that this was Batman Year One we're focusing on, which I love for multiple reasons. One, we get a chance to see him really fight for his prestige. Okay, he really has to get to Like you see the progress. He has to get to what we want him to get to. You see some type of progress, some type of upward transition. One, two. It's showing me that DC is possibly doing some type of reset, which I really hope so. DCCU has been so freaking painful to watch because they just seem like they couldn't get anything right. Even the most recent successes seem like they still didn't get it completely right, but they're learning. Okay, so much like a, a kid, you want to give them some type of praise, but you always want to show them, hey, you did good, but you can always do better. This is where I want you to be. You're now right here. So progress. So it's showing me that they're listening to some extent. And three, and this is the most important one, they're having fun finally. Like Jesus Christ. It seems like they have not been having fun in so many movies. There are fun movies and then they're just DC movies. And it's never like, oh my god, I really love that movie. It was a lot of fun. It was just, okay, that was a movie. That was a decent movie. That was a good movie. But it was never, that was a fun movie. Okay? And I'm trying to avoid comparing them to Marvel. But it is important for you to see why you're failing and make adjustments to it. Okay? So I'm happy that it seemed like they're finally listening. This is Batman Year One. This is a storyline. Something that was already established. Something that we had in an animated series. Animated movie. I'm sorry. And hopefully, I really hope they stick to the format. Okay? And when I say format, I'm talking about, don't try to cram multiple storylines into one freaking movie. Okay? We have a plot. Okay? Beginning, middle, end. That's it. Don't try to add all of this gigantic extended universe crap into one movie, which I really hope that they stick to. Okay? I'm not calling it yet, but I really hope that they stick to their guns when it comes to this. Okay? If you make a decision, stick to it. I understand, and I've seen plenty, I've been on plenty of comment sections, not actually commenting, but just, seeing people's reactions. And a lot of people had issues with Robert Pattinson. He was in Twilight. He was a soft-spoken vampire. He twinkled. But excluding that role, which, to be honest, it was a bad movie, but I wouldn't say it was a bad movie because of him. Okay, I think it was a bad role, to be honest. I think it was I think it was a couple of things, but I wouldn't say it was a bad because of him. I like him as Batman. He seemed like this could be fitting. If we, because, and I will say this. There's been plenty, and when I say plenty, I'm actually being generous. There have been too many Batman nerds that wants Batman to be dark and gritty and gloomy and yada yada yada. Which, okay, we get that Batman do have its lane when it comes to dark and gloomy and, to be honest, depressing. But that's not all Batman is. You have this gigantic universe that is Batman, but you want to keep him in this one little pocket of just dark and gloomy, which it does not fit for a lot of these characters that are in the Batman universe. So I'm gonna try to get back to what my point. So when you have Robert Pattinson, like in this shot, he looks cold. He looks very, can I say, he's cold. He's calculating. He seemed like he's constantly in his thoughts. He's always focusing on something. He looks like the dark person that you could you could very easily impose Batman universe onto. Okay. Now, I would like for them to be willing to expand into the rest of the Batman universe. You know, keeping him taking him out of this small little pocket of being cold and dark and yada yada yada. You know, at some point he has a kid, or at some point he has kids living in his house, so he has to be warm enough to be around kids to some extent. You know, so I like that. But we're focusing on this movie. I like Robert Pattinson as Batman. Christian Bale, he was okay as Bruce Wayne to me, but I wasn't impressed about him as Batman. People say, "Oh, he doesn't have the jaw for it." We watched George Clooney as Batman, okay? So, for real, that's nothing. Same thing with Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton, like, if you really look at Michael Keaton, he didn't really have the build for Batman. So what are we really looking for? To be honest, I want the actor to act. Okay. Now, if we're talking about someone who's short and they constantly look like they're short, that's a different story. Okay. But he looks like he's average height. Okay. I don't know how tall Robert Pattinson is. I don't care. But I think he does really good for Bruce Wayne and for Batman. Okay? So far. I could be wrong, and I will be happy to do a review video after the movie comes out. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for a couple of changes. There's going to be a few changes to the channel and a few changes to the videos. So stay tuned. And I'll see you on the next one.